What's good with it? He's Greg. I'm your boy Robert. We are the All Out of Fucks podcast. What's good with it? We back in the building after a little 1 week hiatus to take care of personal business. We needed a break, y'all. I realized I don't even know how many episodes we've done in a row, honestly. So I realized we hadn't really taken any breaks other than I think we did like a isolated kind of break where we did some best of episodes or some shit like that. But other than that, shit, we haven't really been taking no weeks off. So we had to take care of real life shit, y'all. So shit, what's been good with you, dog, for the past couple of weeks? I know you was down in Florida over there scouting out your boy Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, man. I mean, so just for all you lovely fans out there, treat it like Varnell Hill. Did you miss me? Because
The Varnell Hill Show.
Boy, Varnell, the Varnell man can. He said, "Boy, no, oh man, it's been a trip. The past couple of weeks, you know, I had to head out to Florida for work, and we went out to Marco Island, and it was, I mean, for those who don't know, in Columbus, Ohio, right now, it is cold as fuck up in this
Cold
bitch.
as shit.
Like they said, fuck fall and just jumped right in the fucking winter.
But it's supposed to get up like near like 60 tomorrow, I think.
So it's about to be a bunch of sick motherfuckers tomorrow.
Right.
It's like 28 degrees out here right now, y'all. So
right now. And so the thing about the cold, real quick, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you know how it is being like when you're from the Midwest, and really when your people from Chicago, you know when not to break out your coat too early. So
Right.
I got the winter joint, like, and I you know every morning I get up and walk the dog, and I like this morning I was like it was 21. I was like, and so I got a Carhartt joint, right? So I got this Carhartt joint that I just kind of wear. It's a heavy duty joint. Like, it's actually fairly warm. And I got the big boy North Face I bought this year. And so I've been holding off from breaking out the North Face. So I still ain't broke it out. Like my rule is typically I don't like to break anything out before Thanksgiving. But and you know how it is. You don't break out your big boy when it's too early because otherwise you're gonna be cold all winter.
Right,
So like,
right.
but I thought about it this morning. I was like, I don't know. Should I break this joint out? Like, but I didn't.
Here you go. You thought about that hood. Put that hood on, cover your face.
Hell yeah. Shit, I fuck around and bought one of them big ass like North Face hats with the ears and shit. Like, I ain't fucking around this winter time.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta check and make sure the snowblower worked. Finally cop one so I didn't get caught up in the rush from last year. So I'm good to go for this season. Fuck it. They don't want no problems. We got the generator out there too. We ready to do business.
Yeah, man. We was out there and it was what 70 between 74 and 80 for the whole week.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it got down. I think the coldest it got down to was probably about 62, 65, something like that. And you know, they was out there tripping like, oh, it's freezing.
Yeah,
oh,
that's how Florida is. I remember one year I had some depositions down there. I was in Jacksonville, and I think it was a winter time. It was like January, and I think it was like 60 or something like that. I'm out there like, oh, this is great. That place was shut down. Wasn't nobody out. I was like, where is everybody? They're like, do you feel how cold it is outside? I'm like, cold. Like I said, it is January.
It is lovely in this bitch. Like you don't understand. So, you know, we did what we had to do. But yeah, we were at so we were there for about a week, and what it was is like the show took maybe 4 days of it, you know, so you got load in, load out, and all that other stuff. But the show took about 4 days worth. But so we would go to lunch on load in days or whatever at this one little spot. We would go lunch. We found a little spot up the street, about 2-3 blocks down or whatever. And the verdict comes in for Rittenhouse, and motherfuckers in that damn restaurant clapping like it was they OJ and shit. Like That verdict came in. I was like, oh, this what we doing. Okay, this is what it is. All right, I see. Like I said, I ain't got no skin in the game. Ain't like he ran out and shot a bunch of black folk, but still.
Yeah, it's just what it kind of signals. It's one of those things where it's kind of like
Right.
the canary in the Mineshaft. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Kind of tells you what's going on. And we'll talk about that a little bit more further. But I wasn't surprised by the outcome. I'm just kind of based on what I was hearing. Some of the stuff that's going on with the judge and everything of that nature. I'm like, oh, so that's how they get down out there. So,
Oh yeah.
and certainly, I mean, it wasn't really directly a race issue. So you're right. For
Yeah.
me, it's just another case of white on white crime. You know what I mean? These violent white folks. But
Yeah. What it showed me is they are not discriminatory against their violence. They just violent to be violent. They've always
right,
been violent, and that they always will be violent. And it's a crying shame that two people had to lose their life because they went out to a protest. It turned into some form of a riot when other folks like Mr. Rittenhouse showed up, calling themselves guardian angels of motherfucking property and bullshit. So you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I ain't had no dog in that fight, but it was just funny that they started clapping. I'm like, what are you clapping for? You clapping because I'm in the room? Because that
right,
shows more about you than me. I don't give two shits. So what are you clapping for? Like,
right.
so it was just one of those things. And I just keep looking at, you look at Instagram, you look at Twitter and all the social medias in the world, and everybody, quote unquote, has got their form of opinion about it. But it's on the lines of, in the same way it is for me. I know for a fact my black ass could have not taken my AR-15 out to Kenosha, Wisconsin, walked down the middle of the goddamn street in front of the fucking cops with that on the front side of me, let alone on the back side of me, on the
Right.
front side of me with my finger anywhere near the fucking trigger and live to tell about it or to go to trial. That shit wouldn't have happened. And I know that for a fact. People go, how do you know? Because 12-year-old Tamir Rice is dead before they even asked him a question.
Right. And that's one of the issues that we're really talking about, right? Is this double standard. And I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. Before we jump into it, we'll do some light shit first.
Yeah,
Just before we get into the bullshit that's Kyle Rittenhouse and this bullshit that's going on with Ahmaud Arbery. Absolutely. I got the Blanco working tonight.
Yeah, I got the what's this? 1942. I got 1942 going, and Don Julio, the man of strength.
Real quick, did you see the Ohio State Legislature? The House approved the bill that allows for concealed carry without permit.
No, wait. So that passed.
The house it passed the House. I'm not sure.
It's not gonna pass the Senate. It's not gonna pass the Senate. They try and do some Texas shit, and that's not gonna happen. Unfortunately, it's way too many more liberals here than in Texas. Like that actually gives a fuck. No, I'm saying that actually gives a fuck.
This is Ohio. Like this is a Republican state.
There's a Republican state.
Heavily Republican.
Yeah, but I'm saying the actual liberals come in Ohio. They actually come out and vote. Like liberals make themselves known in Ohio. In Texas, you ain't got a shot in hell, and they make you feel that way. And half them motherfuckers don't even vote. The amount of actual liberals that come out and vote is very, very small in Texas. In Ohio, they like, no, motherfucker, we're here because again, Republican state, Democratic town. So,
well, yeah, Columbus is, but
Columbus is right. Yeah,
so
it just so happens to be the state capital. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So there's that, and all the major cities were mostly democratically controlled in Ohio, except for Cincinnati. But
right.
But so real quick, it was a good sports weekend, dog. Like, how about them Boilermakers on basketball court, looking good, looking like they got their shit together? Like,
man, like I saw Michigan lose, and then I saw what we did to North Carolina, and I'm like, these dudes, they can play. Might be right. They
can play. Like I watched them play, and I'm like, okay, like because sometimes you look at the team, you're like, I mean, yeah, if we put it together and have a great game, we can knock off one of these teams. But playing Villanova, who was number 5 at the time when we beat them,
Right.
and North Carolina, I think, was top 20 at least, maybe top 15 at the time we beat them.
I think they were like
Um,
13 or something like that.
like when I watched the game, when you watch you know how it is. I watched it and didn't feel like those teams were better than Purdue. I thought Purdue was actually the better team, like from a talent perspective.
Right.
So, which meant that, when you watch Purdue, it looks like they can have a bad game and still beat top 10 teams. That's saying a lot. Like that's the type of stuff you usually see with like the Dukes and Gonzagas, stuff
Right.
like that. But
It
so
it
they
do-
look like
it reminds me it's not the same type of team. So when I say this, I'm not trying to compare them, but it reminds me of when we got Robbie and them.
right.
Like that,
Yeah,
it's that look.
this team is deeper.
Yeah, this team is deep without
This
saying
team
so.
is deeper.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I got that feel from them. Like they know they are good.
Right.
You ain't got to try to pump them up. They know
No, but
yeah.
they know they're good, but they don't skip steps. You can tell they're seasoned too, so they're taking it serious and they're listening to Painter,
Yep.
and they not taking any breaks. They're like, all right, they got to do this. And I think the fact that they're so deep, I mean, they got 9 to 10 legitimate starters,
Right.
like of guys who can just play. And they redshirt in last year's Mr. Basketball in Indiana.
Yep. That
He's
tells
redshirt.
you.
Trey
They,
Kaufman, he's
yeah.
redshirt.
So that
So I
tells you
mean,
right there.
so I mean, that's how deep they are. Like, so I mean, they about to be a problem. Like, so say I'm too bad we didn't get Seth on this episode. He probably just would want to talk shit about the Pacers beating the Bulls last night, which it is what it is. It's the NBA. You know how that shit goes. And the Bulls was on that was a back to back off of the West Coast trip. Like after beating the emotional Knicks game the night before, like you can
They got
have it.
jet lag.
Because I mean, they came back home for that Knicks game and they had an adrenaline high because they wanted to beat them after the Knicks beat them the last time. So they pure adrenaline at home after that road trip, and then they got it back to back against the Pacers. You could tell they just didn't have it, and that's how the NBA is. But these Bulls is nice. My Colts beat the Bills this weekend. That was a great weekend. Purdue did their thing. They going bowling. It was a good. This is what Saturday. Sunday was one of the better sports days I've had in a while.
Yeah, I would have loved to have a good Sunday, but my squad. I mean, my squad played to the very last play of the game, but I mean, coming off that Monday night game, I was wanting them to win. Like,
yeah,
they needed to win versus do what the fuck they did. But
right.
again, I'm overjoyed and happy because hell, Cleveland still sucks. So
Your boy Baker Mayfield is such a fuckboy. Like, I mean, that dude,
as
he's
long as
annoying,
Cleveland
dog.
sucks, man.
Like, he's one of these dudes that's like, you can't be. It's bad enough if you're good and you're arrogant, right? But he's
Right.
arrogant and he's average. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and he's always got some smart ass shit to say, like about the. I mean, dude, just sit the fuck down and just kind of take your medicine sometimes. Like, it ain't always people out to get your little scrawny. I mean, you bring a lot of this shit on yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so for him to be like arrogant and shit, like, the fans are shitty, blah blah blah. Like, you just bring it on yourself, dog.
Keep your head down, do what you got to do, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. But
So,
he refuses to do it, and it's just funny to watch them implode. It's funny to watch their fans implode and turn on each other. It's been great. That's the only thing. I mean, Pittsburgh done had 2 horrible weeks, but yet and still they still ain't Cleveland.
did you see your boy LeBron cold cock sucker punch that dude? Look, look,
man.
I got the alert. So I got the alert. I got an alert to my phone. I was putting the boys to bed on maybe Monday. I can't remember, but when was it? Monday or Tuesday? What's today? It was Monday, and I was like, "It's just something like LeBron ejected at the brawl in Detroit." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I'm out, once I got situated, let me watch this shit. So I saw him, and the highlight came in on old boy chasing his ass, trying to not bull over everybody and knock him down. I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck happened?"
Right.
Because the headline read LeBron punches somebody in the face, right? I'm like, damn, did he like just just knock something, punch somebody? But I saw the shit. Shit was absolutely intentional. Like all these motherfuckers were like, oh, it was incidental. He didn't mean it. It was just he got his emotions got the best of him. No, he knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, see, what I was gonna say is something must have happened earlier in that game
Right.
for them to be on the line,
Oh,
and they could
or
have been jawing at each other on the line.
this
But
Isaiah
yeah,
Stewart, I think is his name. He just
yeah,
strikes me the type of guy who has a lot of energy, plays super hard, and probably annoyed the fuck out of LeBron. They down 12 points.
mm-hmm.
They their season just ain't going the way they want it generally.
And he's
And
still going
he
100%.
yeah, he just got frustrated. Like, fuck this shit. Who the fuck is this random motherfucker who's over here doing all this shit? So
And I understand Isaiah Stewart's anger, because if you think about it, you did that shit off the line. Like,
right.
we weren't both going for the ball, jumping. It wasn't anything like this. This ain't the motherfucking playoffs. We just coming off of a fucking free throw, and you could have blinded me for life. The
Right.
way he looking at it, he don't know how injured he is. He just knows he's pretty fucked up and bleeding all over the place. He
Right.
got hot, and I'm telling you
Well, I
right
think
now.
so. People were like, "Well, why did he start?" I mean, yeah, he probably took it a little too far, but because you can't really allow that to happen, right? Because
Right.
if that shit pops off, then everybody's about to fight. You guys are fans. I mean, it's already Detroit, right? So, they can't have that shit. But yeah, I think what really sent him over the edge was Westbrook's ass over here talking shit, squaring up and shit. And
He said, "You can get
Stewart,
this smoke too."
yeah, Stewart's a boxer. Like people
Oh
don't know
yeah.
that he boxes. Like
Oh
for
yeah.
real. Like I found that out. So like that makes sense. He's like, fuck this shit. Like
I'm
you
gonna
can catch
drop
these hands.
right
Right. Somebody
two
gonna catch
piece,
these hands.
2 piece in the biscuit. Somebody about to drop.
So
Sorry.
so they suspended LeBron for tonight's game against the Knicks, and they gave boy 2 games, which is probably fair. That's probably about what it was gonna be. So um
And
I
then
was curious, huh?
Mello over there. He ain't coming through here. He ain't gonna come through. Mello standing at the other side of the bomb on the other side.
Right,
He ain't
right.
coming over here. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, I'll tell
Mello.
you, yeah, all right. That's why I'm pretty sure they had security in the fucking locker room. I'll tell you that right now. When they sent his ass back there, because he was knocking motherfuckers over all over the place. Like,
Yeah.
and as a matter of fact, when he was going back to that locker room, it's almost like he was going back a back way. He knew,
He
like,
took he was about to go around the corner.
he
And
was
he
like,
was
yeah, I'm about to. He's like, all right, yeah, I'm about to. And he smooth. He did it real. So he did the old smooth, like, I'm cool, I'm cool, I'm cool, and then took off. I was like, okay, he trying to get this. It's now. Some people were saying like if he really wanted that smoke, he could have got it when they were closer face to face, and he didn't start really getting super,
right.
aggressive until there was about 4 or 5 motherfuckers in between there. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, y'all making a lot of money to be over here, fighting over this shit. But it's still men. You know what I mean? And you
Right.
still gotta do what you gotta do.
Right. I think the more he thought about it, the more upset he got. And if you got Westbrook being Westbrook and that
And
nigga
that's
over there
that's
talking, man. Yeah.
and that's why I thought it was setting him because it seemed like he was because Westbrook was jawing at his ass, and that's what probably pissed his ass off.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was really trying to get at Westbrook more so than LeBron at that point. He probably pissed off at LeBron, and LeBron was trying to say some slick shit anyway, probably.
Well,
Um,
yeah, but he's passive aggressive with his shit though.
right? He's like, "Oh shit, this shit got real."
Oh fuck! Hey, ref,
Like,
right there,
I,
the
I,
tall
I,
gentleman.
I, I hate to say it, MJ would have just choked the motherfucker out.
Yep, or try to rake his face off.
Right,
Grab
right,
like he grabbed Reggie by the
right,
face.
right.
Tried to tear
That's
his
how
face off.
you solve problems in the '90s, motherfucker. Like,
Oh
shit.
shit! He literally, man, like LeBron stepped back like, I didn't get all my lessons yet on this USC thing. Oh wait,
All right.
where's all your LeBron little stands that talking about all LeBron
Yeah,
needs is two years and he beat Mike Tyson. That nigga didn't want
right.
no part of Isaiah Stewart.
Want none of that smoke. Like LeBron right there, he right there with Donald Trump getting honorary with black belts in Taekwondo and shit. Did you see that shit?
No,
I should say
no.
for what the fuck, but I'm gonna talk about it now. Like I saw something where some organization was down at Mar-a-Lago and they gave Trump an honorary black belt, something degree black belt.
If you're
And
part of
so
that organization, you ain't worth shit.
all I want to do is see Trump do any sort of physical activity.
Other than pick up a Big Mac and eat it, fuck it. No. He already
Right.
fucking photoshopping face over Rocky's body and shit. Like this type of crazy ass shit that he do. But that's honorary black belt. What the fuck? Okay.
I thought that shit was weird. I'm like, the fuck? Let me see what this is. But I knew it was some bullshit. But fuck it, let's jump into this shit. So you kind of let in you. So you was in Florida, you saw that shit. The anybody who's watching the news, Kyle Rittenhouse got off and acquitted for the shit that went down there. Legally speaking, it's probably a solid self-defense case. I mean, just from the perspective of the facts, as I kind of understand them. It sounds like some of these three guys kind of pursued him more so than they should have, and that's kind of how he got off. For me, the case isn't really about. I mean, that is what it is. It's like we said before, it's really just a case of white on white crime. Why are white folks so violent? Like, why don't y'all do something about your white on white crime? Why do y'all just let this continue to happen over and over? But for me,
I blame the moms.
Yeah, blame the moms. It actually is the mom's fault. This
the single white moms.
Yeah,
they
just need more fathers in the household.
Yeah.
So fuck them. Like so. For me, what it boils down to, this is just another case of white men trying to consolidate power in the anticipation of being the minority in this country in another probably 10 to 15 years. And we've talked about this before. And so when I've talked about that before in the context of stand your ground legislation, this is exactly why they're doing shit like this. And and it kind of bleeds over into the Ahmaud Arbery murder. You've got these white folks who believe they can act however they want to act, and they try to stack the deck with respect to these laws across the state by opening up the self-defense laws to say that they can be super aggressive out in these streets and there's no duty for them to retreat. And the idea behind that is when you're the minority in a country, it allows you the ability to be ultra aggressive because you have this expectation that you're going to have to protect yourself.
Right.
So you got this kid running around, meeting with the Proud Boys, all this other shit, claiming that they're out there protecting white property interests. They didn't say white interests, but they definitely said property, which is another conversation to have, that they're more interested in protecting property than discussing the actual issue of Black lives that was being protested in the first place. But this notion that white folks can basically do what they want to do, that's what this is really, and we talked about earlier, it's a canary in the mine shaft.
Yep.
Signaling to y'all about how white folks are approaching this shit, white vigilante justice, and it bleeds over in the Ahmaud Arbery stuff. We'll talk about it. And so this is why you got to be on notice, aware of what's going on, because this is how these white folks are trying to think, because they absolutely fear what's happening in this country, that this country becomes more diverse, browner across the board, as their ideals are getting shoved to the side. They have this feeling that somehow they're going to be pushed out, so they're going to try and set the table in a way that they can still eat in the way they're doing it right now, in a way that they kind of maintain that power. So, I mean, so that's really that's what I took away from this shit. I mean, we kind of talked about all the bullshit that went on during the trial, the crying and shit. He had the nerve to get on Tucker Carlson or some shit after the fact and say how he supported the Black Lives Matter movement. He needed to go kill himself.
Yeah.
And candidly, between him and the killers of Ahmaud Arbery, had the streets taken care of Zimmerman, we may not be in this position.
Here's the thing.
Had we made an example of his ass, then maybe they'd have backed off the shit.
Let me jump in on that. So young Dolph gets killed, right? Did you see the story now? The dude that killed young Dolph now just got shot and killed. Streets took care of him. So again, black folks, I'm asking you, if you can take care of that situation, why are you scared to take care of the other situation? I'm talking to the streets. I ain't talking to no particular person in general. I'm just saying, if the streets, like it's what the article came out, or the news thing came out earlier today about young Dolph and supposedly the suspect that they had for his murder. He's been shot and killed. So somebody sat there and found out who it was, and somebody sat there and took care of him. All we got to do the same thing, But hey, George Zimmerman can sell books, I guess. You know, I just don't understand how quickly you can take care of one situation, but let the other situation go, and then claim that you run some shit.
Yeah, street. Like the reality is, like we were saying, street justice. Had we made an example of Zimmerman, and people are gonna be like, "You guys aren't supposed to be talking like this. You're not supposed to promote violence." It ain't about promoting violence, but
Not me.
sometimes, sometimes you have to make an example so this shit don't happen again. And Zimmerman, if anybody deserves that shit, is Zimmerman for killing a boy who was simply walking home, trying to get home and survive. And so I don't have any sympathy for wishing ill will on Zimmerman at all. Zero.
I'm just saying, if something were to happen to him,
Ain't nobody crying for his ass. Zero.
and not will not shed one tear. If it
Not
was
one.
to
I
be
may
on
even
the news and you hear something crazy about some lions and tigers and he accidentally fell in the lion bit, I would not shed a
I
tear.
may even pour myself a drink. Like,
I may even donate to that zoo. I'm just gonna tell you that right there now. Let's keep.
you get that. Hey, you get that line a nice steak.
I'm just saying, if that were to happen, so
Get him something to wash down that Zimmer. Fuck out of here. So yeah, that Kyle Rittenhouse shit, like it's just, I mean, so I know a lot of people, but black folks, we got to do better of understanding what's going on with these cases. Like a lot of folks were up in arms because somehow they thought it was like a direct race issue, and it really wasn't.
No, it was not.
But digging deeper, it does highlight an issue that I feel like black folks aren't aware of or prepared enough to really pay attention to. That these white folks, specifically these white men, are absolutely trying to find a way to consolidate the power. And I've been saying that for the past probably 10 years, especially when it comes to these stand your ground legislation. And because it's clear, that's the only reason why you'd want to expand self defense laws is that particular reason. Because otherwise, everything is good as it was. I mean, the law was basically, hey, look, somebody come in your home, you can do what you got to do to defend yourself, even if it means fatal force or killing somebody. That makes sense. It's what I call castle doctrine. Your home is your castle. You can defend your castle. But outside of your home, you got a duty to retreat. If you have an option to retreat, you're supposed to retreat because we don't want people out here being vigilantes. That was the discussion legally when it came to that.
Wild West stuff. Yeah.
But that's exactly what you have with these motherfuckers like Kyle Rittenhouse and the Proud Boys and all these other folks. So, fuck it. I mean, from my perspective, black folks just need to become more proficient handling their own weapons and more knowledgeable about Second Amendment rights. And fuck it, when the time comes, it's gonna have to go down. It's gonna have to go down. That seems to be where it's headed.
And I'm telling you, you want to learn, go get a class. If they're all booked up and you in town, come see me. We'll get out to the we'll get you right. We'll definitely get you right. But no, truthfully, it is an absolute shame that something like this had to happen to those young men who were out at a rally protesting, exercising their First Amendment right. And they went too far and they caught some smoke that they cannot come back from.
Right.
That part sad. My issue with the Rittenhouse thing was, uh, you left your state. I don't give a shit if your daddy lived there or not. You left your state to go to another state, so you had plenty of time within the drive from Illinois to Wisconsin to figure out what you wanted to do, and you can't. I know you can't prove that that's what you wanted to do, but you could have took a 9 mil and protected the property too. So the mere fact that you had an AR-15, you made sure you had something that could do damage if you actually got into the situation that you placed yourself in. So, I don't care what you do or how many interviews you have. Pretty much, I hope your life is fucked, because if you were a black kid that just so happened to live through the ordeal, they would have made sure that your life is fucked. They would have made sure
Oh yeah.
that your parents' life was fucked. They would have made sure that financially you were fucked. So I got no sympathy for you or the cats in the Aubrey case. And the Aubrey case a little bit different. The prosecutors they are proving, they're doing a great job proving that these dudes chased him down. I mean, they got them to pretty much admit that we chased him down.
Right.
So
The issue there is going to
yeah,
be the jury makeup, though. Right.
right,
That's the issue there. I mean, you got
right.
one black person on that jury, the rest of them white folks, I think. Um, Jury composition is going to matter there. So don't be surprised if you don't see it, if you see an acquittal there.
And I'm thinking a mistrial.
Maybe not even mistrial, because I mean, I don't know what the standard is down there, but I'm assuming if one person basically says that they don't agree, then I guess you can call it mistrial, but it's just there's not going to be a unanimous verdict. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So
no way
it could be
near
a
going to
mistrial.
nowhere near going to be a unanimous verdict. So I'm not expecting quote unquote justice. And the problem is I'm not expecting quote unquote justice. And there's people like me that don't expect actual justice, and that's the problem. There should not be two systems. The
Right.
justice, plain and simple, there should not be two systems. Now, you take your wins and you take your losses, but one team seems to take the losses and move on. The other team don't like losing, so they just figure out a way to keep themselves from losing. If you're a sore loser, I don't know what to do for you.
Yeah, because
yeah,
the issue in the Ahmaud Arbery murder trial, meaning Ahmaud Arbery was on murdered, it's a little different, right? Because one of the things they're focusing in on is, well, there's a citizen arrest statute down there, and they're trying to say, well, it was a citizen arrest, but the judge gave the jury a jury instruction, and the defense was pissed off about it, saying that, well, we don't think that's the right characterization of the law. But the judge was basically like, look, you, it's only an applicable statute if you arrest somebody either while you have to observe them commit the crime,
right,
in order for you to have done something, and more importantly, you're not allowed to pursue somebody.
right,
So that negates, or however you want to characterize it, that it's not applicable in those circumstances,
right.
and therefore you have to let it go. And there's a policy and a logical reason behind that, right? Because surprise, we don't want people acting like fucking vigilantes. You ain't fucking Batman. You ain't an Avenger.
Right.
Like, stop acting like it.
You ain't Dog the Bounty Hunter or any
right.
of them other motherfuckers.
So chill the fuck out and let let law enforcement do their job. That's there's a whole other issue there, right? But this idea of existing while black, that somehow these guys should. I mean, Ahmaud Arbery's not here, but these motherfuckers should get off. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they get acquitted, the street should definitely do justice down there with them motherfuckers, for real. If anybody deserved to take an L, it's these guys. Just because, I mean, it's total bullshit. It's some good old boy shit. They got getting in their trucks and shit. I mean, because what the fuck are you doing? Even if it's some sort of property issue, it's not like if you suspected a crime had been committed, you didn't suspect that a assault had occurred or that a murder had occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Like, chill the fuck out. But they started feeling themselves, and it's within this environment of white aggression that these white folks think they can act however they want to act. I mean, a lot of that is because they're super fucking comfortable.
Did they ask the question if they had been drinking?
Yeah, I haven't really been watching the trial that close. So
yeah, I'm wondering if that question was ever posed, because
seems like it seems like a good old lynching mentality, right?
Yeah.
As when you heard the facts of it, that's what this shit sounds like.
Yeah. So, how dare this nigga run? Stop, nigga. We trying to detain.
We told you to stop, right?
We told you to stop. Okay, this nigga won't stop. Yeah. Okay.
And then they so, I mean,
yeah, it's a shame that we still going through this, but I mean, we going through this because we live by a different playbook. And
well, let me ask you this question: like, do you think it's? I mean, because I think about this often when we think about whether or not we're gonna move, we're gonna go someplace else. This is why I'm uncomfortable living in suburban white neighborhoods. Like, everybody else talks shit about. They talk shit about oh, I don't live in the hood. It's not a safe environment. Probably blah 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 blah. I get it, right? But for
Right.
me, I don't feel comfortable in white suburbs. We live in one, but I don't feel comfortable in one because of shit like that. So let me ask you this question: do we need to do a better job of just maybe moving out of these neighborhoods? Because how do you protect yourself in these situations? I mean,
I
they can
think
catch this heat.
right. I think if you lived in your own community's neighborhood, so like say you live in a black neighborhood and it's what they consider a bad neighborhood, I think if if the neighborhood knows you
Right,
and knows what you gonna do if they try you, you are safer there than in
right.
these suburban
I,
neighborhoods.
I 100% believe that. I mean, because I feel like in the hood or wherever you are, like, yeah, shit, crime happens, but it's usually crime of opportunity. Like, oh, we saw you had a flat screen box out on your curb when you should have cut that shit up and put it out at night. Everybody in the hood know that shit. Like,
Right. So if
some
you got
shit you don't.
lazy, yeah, if your ass
Right, they
lazy,
caught your ass, right?
yeah,
And
right,
so I mean, it's not right, right? But the reasoning isn't because they're coming after you because of the color of your skin.
right,
Right. It's not that level of vitriol. Whereas in the suburb, if some shit popped down, you got some race, color, and all that shit. There's nobody for you to call, right? It's not you because you can't call police for protection, right?
right,
And you can protect yourself, but then once you protect yourself, you subject yourself to these laws, and they're going to potentially charge you criminal, right?
right.
So it's a dilemma. So and I've talked to my wife about that. Like that's one of the reasons why um, we're looking at maybe moving to a more predominantly black, middle class neighborhood, right? Just because I just don't, I don't feel, I mean, that's the world that my boys are going to have to be raised in, but sometimes you just don't feel like dealing with that shit. Like, I don't feel like dealing with this shit. Like, I want them to see more people that look like them growing up, and I want them to have to feel like they got to deal with this shit when it's unnecessary.
And when you say it, it's not necessarily that quote unquote bougie black neighborhood where they spend their whole life trying to be white.
Right.
Them, it's not that. There
No,
are, yeah, I got
I'm
you.
talking about just a solid like black neighborhood, or even just, not even really black, like more. I'll even take just more diverse, right?
Right, right,
And I don't even care what it is. I just want them to see some diversity and some color, and not feel like they're being ostracized. And I think there's a value in raising our children in an environment where they don't have to worry about that particular aspect, and they can just be kids, and they can mature, and then you can learn about all this race shit later. I mean, they got a daddy like me. Your kids got father like you. Like
right.
they not gonna be running around here ignorant of race.
Exactly,
You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
I think about I think about that when I think of cases like Ahmaud Arbery or murders like Ahmaud Arbery. This idea that we always trying to run to these communities, and I've never felt comfortable in these communities. I know my wife grew up in suburbs, but she grew up in a more diverse suburb
Hmm.
in this area. Um, so it's a little different, but I do find myself I, I find myself less comfortable in this
Yeah,
community.
right.
And just, it's crazy because my wife, she was laughing at me. Like she said, you seem more on edge going out at night here in this safe ass community than you would when you're back home, when you visiting up in the South Side. I'm like, it's just different. I don't know
Yeah,
how to explain it. Like,
yeah. I
it's
was
just
about
a
to say,
different feeling. Like,
I'm not safe in this neighborhood, this society, whatever you want to call it. I don't feel comfortable and safe here
yeah,
because I
you walk down the street. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say you walk down the street and then you get fucking three cars and they all roll up. Can I help you?
Right.
What the fuck you
And
asking me if you
look,
can help me for?
and I don't want our immediate neighbors are very nice people, right? Like so, like I don't have a lot of questions about them. Shit goes down, you wonder, but like somebody who's not from the immediate neighborhood on the block,
Hmm.
like I go out in the I'm out early in the morning walking the dog or late at night walking the dog in my hoodie and my whatever, my headphones or whatever, some shit
Right,
with my dog. Who knows what the fuck they think? So and
right.
some shit pops off and I got to defend my family here in my house. You call the police, it's a whole different ball game. They're like, well, do you even live here, motherfucker? Like, so I mean,
Like who carries the deed to their fucking house in their wallet?
right,
Like,
right.
fucking like, how you go? What?
But
Okay,
those are conversations like so. It's funny because like I feel more uneasy walking around here at night than I have ever felt on between 111th and 112th in Halstead, right?
Right. Right.
Like walking to Sheldon's Liquors, like I
Right.
I have no problem. Like I feel super comfortable. Like that's the Wild Hunteds, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just because it's just different because out there, yeah, you can get taken advantage of, right? And somebody might see you and be like, see you as a mark, but that's because you presented yourself as one. You presented yourself as a potential victim.
Right.
If you just stay aware, you'll be good. Out here, you know, these punk ass motherfuckers might try to engage you and just try to outnumber you, right? So,
And
once
you're
I
gonna
get
get
this,
laid down.
well, once I get the concealed carry finalized, like, so I remember be carrying that shit out with me because the other night I was walking around my back.
Yeah. Say, I'm telling you right now. I went to church in Inglewood. Went to high school off 111th King Drive. Went to grammar school off 111th and True. So
Mm-hmm.
that's down street from Ada Park.
Yeah.
So all those different, and then I grew up off 103rd and Halsted, like
Mm-hmm.
in Washington Heights. So that's multiple levels of learning your area. Like I had to do different shit in those different areas. I couldn't be the same way in those different areas. Once you
It's
learn
crazy.
your area,
By the way, it's crazy how close our families were. Like, by the way,
see,
like, because my father, he's in racing courts
okay,
projects,
got it.
and my I won't say where my sister lived, but she don't live too far from where you
Mm,
grew up.
mm-hmm.
So she lived
Yeah.
right. She lived near Shelby, like
Oh,
a
okay.
couple blocks.
See, that's what
So,
I'm saying. So dude, you got different sections, and then my mom, my mom was from Ida B. Wells. My grandmother was like Ida B. Wells. Grandfather was Stateway and Robert Taylor before they knocked
mm-hmm.
them down. Like
Right,
all these different areas in which I had to like live and maneuver and make sure I, had my hat straight and shit like that.
right,
You
yeah,
you you learn how to walk with you learn how to walk with no fear. Because if you can
right.
make it in those different areas, you got no fucking fear. The thing
And you,
is, you just worry about what the fuck you may have to do.
right,
That's what it is. Like I always tell my kids, the only thing I'm scared of is what I might have to do. I'm not scared of what may be coming. I'm not scared of this person or that person or this and that. I'm scared what I might have to do.
right.
That's what I'm scared of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you learn how not to be a victim. I mean, I had to laugh, like, because, well, it's kind of like your posture changes or whatever. It does kind of change. Like
Yep. Yep.
the minute you cross that border and you get over there, like you can't walk the same that you walk out here. Like
Nope.
it's got to be totally different. Like you got to have a purpose to what the fuck you doing. You can't be out here leisure. Like don't be looking around like you're a fucking tourist or any other
Right.
bullshit. Just be
Keep
about
your
your business. Go
eyes
take care of what you got to take care of.
right. Keep your eyes on your own shit. Like my kids laugh every time we go back to the crib. They go, "Dad, you changed, man. Like everything changed about you. You get this stone face look on your face, and man, you be walking, and then you be like, you make sure your glasses you keep them up when you can't see your eyes." I was like,
Right.
"Yeah, hell yeah. I'm
That
sorry. That's
motherfucker.
just how
Like
that works."
just I mean, you have to have a level of awareness, but it's different. Like it's a situational awareness versus just the bullshit, the racist bullshit you might have to deal with.
Right.
Like the the because that's just a different level of aggression that you're like, all right, I got to do some work here for a different reason.
Right. Right. It's a trip. When you said that, it made me think about it because I often wondered. I was like, okay, eventually I'll make it to the level I want to make it to. I mean, I'm gonna really work hard at it or die trying. But if I make it to that level, do I really want to move out and into an area where I got my 40 acres and a mule,
Right,
and the neighbors got their 40 acres and a mule, and you might see maybe 3 or 4 of your neighbors total on
right,
your whole block, Do I really want to be out there like that? Or do I really want to just move out to the country somewhere where it's like I live off the grid type of deal, and I go back and forth. Truthfully, I can save money by going and living with my people. Now,
Right.
what you can do, because people wonder, okay, well, shoot, going in, they just come and try to take what the fuck you got. What you can do is make sure you invest your dollars not only into the black businesses. That's only one part. Black business is one part. You always hear people like invest black business, invest business. That is one part of it. Then you have to actually invest in the community itself, and that's when you get a little bit political. That's when you start getting on
Yeah, you
your
present.
scoop.
Yeah, you present. Yeah, you present.
Yeah, and that's what happens.
Because that's how black communities are. Like, yeah, there might be some shit going down, but more often than not, the streets respect certain folks. Like, all right,
Yep.
yeah, but he doing what he need to do. So like, we leave him alone. Leave them kids alone. Like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So there's a level, there's a hierarchy to it. So I mean, yeah, it's just I just thought that was interesting, and it just came to my mind now, and just because that's one of the conversations we're having, and I didn't know because I've never really lived in this. I mean, I'm from Southern Indiana, where I kind of spent most of my time. Like my family's from Chicago, but I grew up for the most part in Southern Indiana. That's a different beast too. I mean, growing up in fucking rural ass redneck Southern Indiana, in Bloomington, Indiana, where
home
20,
of the clan.
25 miles away from the home of the clan, right?
Right, home of the clan.
Like the origination of the clan,
right?
That's a different beast altogether. But Bloomington's kind of like it's a little pocket that's a little different, right? It's super liberal bastion of IU and all that shit. So it's a little bit different, but you still feel some of that. But
I'm gonna tell you, I went to Bloomington one time during school. One time, and my guy who my college best friend, at one point he had him a little girl up there at IU. So he's like, "Hey, roll with me to Bloomington." I was like, "What? Fuck IU." I'm doing all the shit I ain't never been. So I was like, "All right, well, how long it take to get there, or whatever?" And then he told me, he was like, "We roll up there," and I got on that campus, and I kid you not, I was like, "Man, they buildings don't all look the same. This actually looked like a little city."
Yeah, so that's how you know it's a liberal arts school, right?
Right.
Because there's some character and flavor to it, whereas Purdue just looked like an engineering campus. Because all the shit looked the same.
Everything looked the same.
Like so, IU is definitely a way more like it's a more beautiful campus. Let's keep it real.
It is. I ain't gonna lie. It really is. So.
Purdue is definitely set up like what it is, which is a technical business engineering type school. Is designed for efficiency. Efficiency only. It's changed. It's changed. I mean, they've made some upgrades and
lately it's changed, but like back then, I was just like, holy shit, this is refreshing.
There's trees in this motherfucker, like
right.
Other than the tree, right?
Right. So I mean, that was like my first thing about Bloomington. I was just like, huh, who knew?
Yeah, so I mean, Bloomington, so they had a different vibe, but like this is my first time because since leaving college, I've lived in urban centers for the most part, right? So I went to law school in Columbus here. Lived in the city. I've always lived in the city now since I've been out of school. Then when we moved to Dayton, I lived in the district, the local entertainment district. So I've just always lived in urban cores for the most part. So when I married my wife, we obviously, we got our house out in the suburbs, and it was just easier. It was easier geographically for my commute, but it's just I feel it now. I'm like, I think especially having two boys, like I really feel it. Like I don't. These people are nice out here and all that, but I know there's that bullshit they would have to deal with at the local high school out here and all that shit. I mean, there's don't get me wrong, there's black kids out here, and there's other minority kids out here, but it's
it's what I call the assimilation.
Yeah.
Like at some point in time, you would have to worry if for them to, because what's going to happen is they're going to have to deal with it on a regular basis.
Right.
And so eventually they're going to make a decision if they're going to just assimilate just so that they don't have to deal with the shit anymore. So
Right.
you're trying to avoid having them have to make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'll do my best to. I mean, our household is very. There's enough stuff around them for them to embrace their blackness, all that type of stuff. But, um, you know, there's no replacement for just seeing more folks that look like you, other than obviously family. You know what I mean?
Right. So like, all right. So like, obviously Lafayette. So when I went back and worked for the university and worked for Purdue,
yeah.
So my kids were like two. Let's see, no, they were. By the time I went back and worked, my youngest, which is now my son that's about to go to college next year, he was born in 04. So he was about 4 years old, which would make his brother and sister, about 6 and 8 years older than him or something like that. So they were roughly like 10, 11, and he was like 4. Mm-hmm. And so we had to put him in West Lafayette schools or whatever. And where we lived in West Lafayette, we lived by the school or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so when my son got into football, it was the suburban, professors and all they kids and all that in football. And then my son, it was like 3 black folks or 3 or 4 black kids. My son, these 2 brothers, they called them the Armstrong brothers, and this other kid. So you could tell it's like 4 niggas and a bunch of white kids, and and all the parents, all the moms and stuff would be like, "Oh, hi, what's going on? We have this and we have this club, and join this." And you could tell you'd be like, "I don't feel like I want to do all this.
Right. This just ain't. I don't want to do this shit. Like,
yeah, I don't want to do it." But you could tell, like the Armstrong brothers, like they parents. The Armstrong brothers, them was some niggas right there. Like like you sat there and look at them boys. Like my son was decent in football. My son was decent in football and baseball. He was fast as shit in baseball, but he was really decent in football. But them Armstrong boys, you could tell they went to Chicago, picked some kids off the street, and dropped their ass in West Lafayette. That's what I kid you not, they played both ways, and they was good both ways. And I think their father actually wound up leaving Lafayette to go coach somewhere. Like he got on as an assistant coach at a college somewhere. So they all moved. But yeah, man, it was just like you could tell who was the quote unquote black folks in the group and who was the assimilated black folks in the group. And I was just
let's keep it real. Anybody who listens to this show knows that my household will never be the assimilated household.
I know, right?
Don't get me wrong. My kids, like, they share a little white music just based off of these fucking Disney movies and shit. But
hey, Disney put it on you. Disney put it on you.
My son, he requires us to play "Life Is a Highway" by Rascal Flatts once a day, based off of Cars movie only. He love that shit.
Here you go. I'm not mad at him on the song. I'm mad at him for just liking Rascal Flatts.
He love that song. You don't know nothing about Rascal Flatts. He just love that fucking song because he know what's happening. That semi truck is hitting the highway and shit, and Lightning McQueen is riding that motherfucker. He's like, "This is my shit right there, Lightning McQueen." Like, so he love that shit. So fuck it. It's been a little bit of an episode. I know we're trying to keep it short this week, but I did want to ask you, we always, this is our 2nd year. I said, like, we've been on doing this shit for, I don't know how long, but so we got in a couple of days.
Season 8.
Right. We got in a couple of days, we got the national We Stole Your Land holiday.
Right.
Where is we celebrate white folks stealing this country from Native Americans, but what's on the menu this year, Doc?
All right, so I actually, I'm lazy as fuck this year. I don't care. So if you
got a Popeyes Cajun turkey, did you get a Popeyes Cajun turkey?
I'm thinking about it.
I would have. It's too late. You can't. If you
can't
thought
do
about it, oh, you gotta. Apparently, you gotta order that shit like 2 weeks ago.
Oh fuck! Well then, all right. Well, there ain't gonna be no turkey at this damn Thanksgiving. It's gonna be it's gonna be goddamn ham and the rest of it then. Because I had to think about if I was actually gonna cook this shit. Like I'm getting to the point like old school grandmamas, them 80-something-year-old grandmamas where they sitting there like I ain't cooking shit. I'm getting to that stage right now. I'm like I ain't cooking shit. And so I told the kids, I said, look, I done told you, I done showed you, and eventually you gonna have to do this shit on your own. And they're like, Daddy, are you serious? So what I did was I started making dressing yesterday, and I said, okay, I'm a try to do it, but I'm not going all out. I might do a peach cobbler instead of my sweet potato pies. I don't know if I'm gonna do some sweet potato pies. That just take a lot out of me. That recipe is just it has to be the same way, and it has to be the recipe, or it won't taste right. And I don't feel like doing all that shit. I want to sit, drink, and then smoke my damn cigars and watch the Bears play the damn Lions and shit. Two piss ass teams.
It's always a fucking terrible ass early game. It's just always terrible as fuck, man. Like, yeah, we not doing a full family joint on Thursday. It's just gonna be us, like us and the kids, just because some stuff going on family wise. But we'll probably do a later one. But I'm still gonna. So last year, remember my goal was to fry that turkey and the shit. It didn't fucking work. Right. So I bought a new one and I tested it last night, so it works. I know that. Okay. I'm gonna fry this turkey on Thanksgiving. See how this shit turned out.
Please don't burn down your backyard.
No, see, remember I told you it's an enclosed one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be doing that. Probably smoke a little cigar. I told my wife, said, look, I need this time. I need.
Right.
So give me this
I'll be
time
right
to just
out
do that.
here on the back porch. You on the back porch.
So who knows? Tell you what I might even do is, who knows? Maybe I'll do a live or some shit of me trying to fry this turkey, and so people can see how wild this shit is. You can hop on that bitch.
Oh hell yeah!
If you're not, you're gonna end up cooking. So you're gonna end up cooking. I don't care what fuck you say.
I'm gonna be the guy on the live going, now that's a fire.
No, that's fire.
Roll him around. Roll Johnny around. Oh shit.
No, so we'll see it, Matt. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll go ahead and I'll do that shit live. I don't give a fuck. I mean, it ain't nothing to it. So you just put that joint in there and call it a day. But then I'm gonna make some candied yams, some mac and cheese, and some of this monkey bread, just like last year. Fucking call it a day.
Yeah, see, my mac and cheese has got to be a day, like you have to make it the day before for it to be right for Thanksgiving. That's how that recipe works. You can make it fresh, but it don't hit like fire until you stick that joker in the refrigerator, pull that joker out, and put it in the microwave and heat it up. That shit's fire. So I'm gonna have to make that mac and cheese tomorrow.
The key is because you got to give it enough time to set. So if you make it the same day, it's got to set, solidify nicely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what I found is my mother, I think she'd make all the stuff. So like she'd make the mac and she'd layer the cheese and all that shit in there and put everything on there. And then she'd cook it the next day.
Oh, okay. So she set it in the refrigerator overnight with the stuff in it. And then, hey, that works too. That sounds like that works.
I think that's probably what set it off. But so yeah, I mean, we'll do a little bit, drink a little bit. Hopefully, I'll smoke a little bit.
I'm gonna smoke a lot of it.
Just chill out.
I'm gonna smoke a lot of it. I got some cigars from my little cigar club. I ain't been able to go up to my place and pick up some whatchamacallit, Perdomos. And so I got these cigars or Padrones. I want some Perdomos and some Padrones because I know I get good smoke output and it's just a good damn time. But I'm trying these ones that come in the cigar club, and I got one good Camacho in there, and then a bunch of shit that I don't even recognize. But I guess I'm gonna try them out. Fuck it, I'm gonna try them out. I ain't been able to smoke in a week and a half or two, so I got some catching up to do.
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna see what these kids let me do. And well, my wife allows me to have what kind of free time, but shit, we'll see what happens, man. I'll go out on the deck. I'll have to run the fireplace and run the patio heater, all that shit. Be good to go.
Yeah, I gotta launch that patio heater. I still have yet to do it. I've been on my front porch a lot more than
Yeah,
I've been
you
in the backyard.
better use that shit.
I know, man. It fell over. Now I tested it to
It
make
did
sure.
fall over. Like mine fell over too. The wind blew it over because
Yeah, the wind blew
I
it
didn't
over.
bolt it. I didn't bolt it to the ground.
Yeah, so what I did was I got sandbags and cemented to the ground because I didn't bolt mine to the ground either.
Mm.
So when yours fell over, did you test to see if it was leaking or anything?
I gotta check it. I'm gonna see before I.
Okay, yeah, I did the test to see if it was leaking, and it's not leaking. So I was like, okay, I think I'm good, but it bent the hood, and I was like, ah, shit, the hood got bent. So I tried to bang that back out. So I'm gonna test it out and try to turn it on. Hopefully, it don't blow up.
Yeah, I saw mine was kind of bent too, so I'm gonna have to see how it goes. But I mean, it's been kind of cold, so I had a chance to get out there. But
Yeah.
well, how'd you test it? You did it with the soap
The,
and the water.
the soap and water. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did the
yeah,
soap and water and poured it on there, and make sure it wasn't no bubbles. So
right.
I was like,
So
okay, there's no bubbles. Okay, we're still good. So yeah, I went to Home Depot and got me like some 50-pound bags of sand and just rounded
I
that bitch.
I actually got some sand in the garage. So that's a good idea. I might do that because I was
Yeah.
like, shit, this shit blew over. I was like, fuck. Then I saw that she was bent up top. I was like, ah, dog it. Right.
That's the first thing I did. I was like, "Some bitch, this bit." They was like, "You
Shit,
hear
ain't
that
this a
sound
bitch?
outside?" I was like, "Yeah, what is that?" I come out, I look out the back door, and that shit's just chink right on over. I'm like, "Motherfucker!" So,
Might fuck around and buy another one. Who knows? We'll see.
no,
It's
no,
probably okay, but it's
yeah,
probably all right.
I was about to say the hood saved it probably. Like
Mhm.
most
Yeah,
likely the hood saved it, so
right,
it didn't smash any of your important stuff. But
right.
yeah, so man, okay, I'm gonna get out there and probably get out in the back because I bought a little cover for it. So I'm gonna take the cover off and whatever, and that way it don't get rained
Yeah,
on.
I bought the covers for everything because like that's just I think it's just smart shit. I still got the electric heater out there too, so if I really need to heat that shit up, it's gonna go down. So we all
Oh
good, man.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
cold as fuck out right now though, so I should test it to see how the shit really goes in the real winter.
yeah. You might as well test it now before the snow hit. Test it
Right.
before the snow hit because you ain't gonna want to try to test it once the snow hit. You be like, man, fuck that. I ain't gonna get no
Right.
boots out here.
So,
But
but shit, man, I didn't have it. What the fuck today? I mean, there's so much shit going on. I think it was you know how we always do. The news is fucked up enough. We like this is the what the fuck. So if you got some shit, let's see what you got.
yeah, so I got a what the fuck. The what the fuck I got. Hopefully this article don't give me a bunch of spam and shit like it's trying to do right now. But it says Penn State student found in landfill after deadly plunge down a trash chute.
Damn.
So yeah, so it says 19-year-old Penn State sophomore Justine Gross was found dead in the landfill last week, just hours after her mother had been alerted that she was missing. So okay,
Mm.
now mom thinks she's missing. Now it says according to the police in State College, Pennsylvania, and investigating Gross' death, a man believed to be a fellow student told both authorities that Gross' mother, Francois Gross, he met with her on the seventh floor of their apartment building earlier in the evening. The man says he gave Justine a smoke, to which she had some kind of negative reaction. He offered to take her back to her 10th floor apartment. Instead, she ran to the trash chute on the 11th floor and dived down to the dumpster. All this shit sounds like a fucking lie, but okay.
Right. Yeah.
Her body was discovered when a garbage truck unloaded the day's pickup at the landfill. Her cell phone and flip flops were recovered in a staircase at the building. The last message she sent to one of her friends prior to her fall read, "Something just happened." So there's some type of fucking cover up. The mother doesn't believe
Yeah.
nothing that's going on, but that's a what the fuck. Like who who runs and
Yeah.
dives down a fucking garbage chute on purpose? No
Nobody
one.
that's sober.
Correct. Correct. So,
Not a
there's some shit
rational
going on.
person.
Right. There's some shit going on. And the mother
Shit.
is like trying to find out what's really going on.
That is a what the fuck.
Yeah.
My what the fuck was actually a picture I posted. We posted to the social media. You see this weird ass motherfucker Kyle Kuzma walking down with that big ass
With his mama's
pink
drapes
ass
on.
over knitted sweater.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck to say about that shit. That shit was ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But that's
Yeah,
these new
dog.
type
Like
guys though. These new type guys is on some shit, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. They on
weird
some
ass
shit.
shit.
Yeah, bro. They own some
If
shit.
if he's one of your top 3 players, you ain't winning shit. Anybody with that type of judgment, you ain't winning. Call it a day. But fuck, it's been real, dog. We'll catch up over the holiday here and get it done. But shit, it's been fun getting back in the swing of it. Go ahead and shit, take us out. Let them know. Let them know what they need to know.
Man, so yeah, so let me start off by saying, happy holidays and happy uh Steal Your Land Day or however you want to put it. So hopefully you get to enjoy your family and actually take a break because life's a bitch and then you die. So hopefully you get to actually have some time with your family. But as always, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. We are the All Out of Fucks podcast. And guess what? We on Apple. We on Spotify. We on SoundCloud. We on Stitcher. We on Libsyn. We on Instagram. We on Twitter. We're on Audible. And select episodes are on YouTube. And we all out of fucks.
We all out of fucks. So I'll let y'all. Peace.